Hello everybody. So, I decided that, a long time ago, about a few months, I made a video featuring my top 10 favorite male characters, but the footage is gone. It disappeared somewhere. Not only that, but the actual PowerPoint has disappeared. So, that is going to be a tale for another day. And unfortunately, probably with the way things are right now, my sister will probably not be in that video, if anyone was wondering. But to make up for it, I decided to put together my top 10 male badass characters. And what I would say considered as a badass might be different from other people's, because people will think, oh, badass is they will fight, they have great, killing moves, all of that. Personally, my opinion of a badass is not only are you good with fighting, killing, all these moves in general, you can also be a badass with using words, strategy, intellect. So any psychological damage that someone can do to someone, I think is also badass. So to make this list, I decided that it would be one character from a series in general. So nothing from multiple seasons or the same thing but with a different title, just one character from the entire series. And they also have to be badass with either fighting, intellect, psychological damage, something like that. And they need to be able to kind of strike fear in you when, not immediately when you look at them, but, hold on. But when you're fighting them, whether it's in, a game of chess, or a sword fight, or something like that. So, let's get started, and like the warning says, there are major spoilers, because I do have to explain how a character is badass in my own way, or my opinion. So you will hear things about characters and shows about what they've done, so if you want to hold off on a character, then just skip right after the names. And the only exception I have to the one character per series would be the honorable mention. And that is... that is Hisoka from Hunter x Hunter. And I'm more talking with the 2011 version, because that's the only one I've seen so far. Now, with this character, it was really kind of a struggle to decide whether or not it would be him or someone else from the series that I wanted on the list. But when I thought about the two characters side by side, I kind of thought about how much did they fight and how badass were their moves. Hisoka does have this gum. I don't remember the type of thing it is, but he has a type of gum aura that can kind of be like puppet strings, and you see this a lot in the second season where he is fighting Gon in the Heaven Tower. And I probably got that tower wrong, I'm sorry, but with Hisoka, he has the strength. He does have very cunning moves, and he can talk fear into you. He makes people shake. And if I saw him if I was up against him in battle, I would beg for mercy. So the next one, you kind of tell I'm also serious. You can. I'm sorry. It's been a long while for a while. So the next one is Leon Orcott. Now, if you've seen my last anime chat, you would understand what series he's from. And he is in Pet Shop of Horrors. Now, the Pet Shop of Horrors is a very short anime of 4 episodes and a 10-volume long manga, where he is a detective trying to fight crime and also trying to bring down a pet shop keeper who he thinks is doing drugs or dealing drugs when only he's selling exotic pets. And the reason why he is on this list is I'm going to talk more about the manga version of him than the anime version, because even though he's a cop, he's a pretty good cop. He is very relied on. But when you're in need of helping, he will come to the rescue right away. And he is good at what he does. If he needs to like look into something, he's right on it. And throughout the manga, you see him take a lot of hits. Whether it's an attack from an animal, a lot of animals, or getting shot on multiple occasions, multiple times. He has fought back, survived, and won his battles. He knows what he's doing. And to me, that is very courageous, and he is really, really good at being a cop, and it's rare for me to say something like that towards an anime cop character. So he's a badass for being good at what he does, being able to take a punch and fight back and win. So cheers to you, Leon. Next, which you probably already saw, Sasuke Uchiha from Naruto. And Naruto Shippuden, technically. So, when I was compiling this list, I was trying really hard to come up with characters that know what it means to be a badass. What it means to do something that proves you know your skills, that you can win a fight. And Sasuke Uchiha is no exception. But the reason he's low on the list is for a few reasons. When I was thinking about him, I was more analyzing his younger self. Because being that young and doing everything he could with doing I don't remember the move with his lightning thing, Chidori, that's it. From being able to accomplish that when he was younger, by being top of his class, by doing everything in his power to hunt down his brother, get revenge, and be strong enough, I admire that. And in almost every single fight he's been in, he has won. The only exceptions would probably be against Orochimaru, Gaara, and Lee. And I'm not gonna lie, he was also stubborn. So maybe that's also why he lost a little bit. And with his older self, he has definitely been used to his curse mark. He got what he wanted. Now he's after something bigger. And yes, the manga is ended, and we all know what happened to Sasuke from going from good to bad, now back to good. And it really is kind of not an underdog story, but just a very pitiful child story, kind of, where you feel so bad for him, and yet he still ended on top, and still probably looked at as a bad guy. Technically, he really isn't. It's not that. I can't even say that. What he did was bad. He may have attacked a few people, but he didn't cause a war. That's it. But I admire his younger self. His younger self was really badass, and it just helped him turn into a greater one, which showed him using more powers, getting used to his curse mark when he was younger, and helping stop one of the biggest things in shinobi history. But there are some problems that I see as I think of Sasuke being a badass, which is he doesn't really think everything through. No matter what. He may be snarky, he may be under rage. He'll just fight if he needs to fight, but he doesn't really think about everything. And that's something important that a badass needs. Number 8, Sakurai Hiroyuki from Judge. Now, Judge is a manga that it's not an anime, and if you know Judge, you would have heard of Doubt and Secrets. Now, this entire section will basically spoil the entire Judge series. So, I suggest that if you would like to read Judge, then please skip to the next one. I beg you. Okay, so Judge, if you do not know, is a series about 9 or 10 teenagers and young adults. They are locked up in this building where they are forced to wear animal heads, and they are put up against a series of trials and judgments where, in order to escape the building, out of the 9 or 10 of them, only 4 of them can make it out alive. And in order to decide who they are, they have to judge everyone else and pick who they want to die. And once they do, the person they pick will die, but they don't know how. And it can be any method that they want. So this guy was one of the kids in the locked room, and he was basically the main character of the show, or not the show, the series. And he is, throughout the entire thing, he's looking for a way out, but as we go on with the series, we find out that each one of them has a pair, and that pair is someone they know, and someone that is important in their lives. Now, the series is based on the 7 Deadly Sins, so each of the characters have at least one sin that is what they're there for, and something that is kind of holding them back, something they're guilty for. Now, the person that is their double is someone that they know very closely, and they have to watch these 9 or 10 go through the trial. But at the same time, if one of them gets voted off, then their double would also have to get killed. And it would usually be the same way. So, as we go through the story, we see gruesome deaths, we see very detailed backstories, and we come to a point in the story where the pairs can meet up, and they do, but not everyone is alive, and you have to help your pair get their head off, not their animal head off, or else it's like a bomb. So, after all that is set up, Hiroyuki is then with this adult man who is the father of one of the people that was with him, and they were law-based people. They were lawyers in training, and this adult male is one of the most cynical people that I've ever had in a manga or anime series. He did not give a shit about anything but himself, even his own son, and that caused a horrific end for his son. But as we go through the entire thing, we see that all of this was based on revenge by one of them, and we find out that the man gets knocked out and is now on a chair, hands tied behind his back, with a noose around his neck, and Hiroyuki is the antagonist of it all. He, along with his pair, who I don't remember, are both the antagonists for the entire series, and everything was based on the revenge for Hiroyuki's brother, or him and the girl who is Hiroyuki's partner in this, but was his brother's girlfriend. And his brother got killed in a car accident, and all these lawyers and judges, which were the adults which were the other pairs, the second group, all of them were judges or children or something like that, but they were all basically judges and jurors of this trial, and they were all paid off to vote not guilty for the truck driver that hit his brother. One person did not take that money, and she and her daughter survived. But everyone else did, used it on their loved ones, and now they are all dead, and soon he will. And after that, after he dies, the two of them meet up with the daughter and mother, and suddenly Hiroyuki is on the ground and is in pain, and the mother and daughter run off to get help. We see the girl standing over him, telling him that she knows that it was his fault that his brother got killed, and she basically killed Hiroyuki as a response. And we see that the girl ends up the victor of the entire thing. Now, the reason why Hiroyuki, in my opinion, is a badass was because through logic and through all this, months of planning, all of this, he, along with the girl, were able to put together this not murder mystery, but this locked room judge case where people are fighting to the death, They are trying to get out, and they're just at each other's throats. And it shows us, as the readers, how tuned in people are about judging other people. And it shows us that we shouldn't really look at people based on their on like what they look like. We have to actually go in depth with them and try and find out what's going on. And with him being like the protagonist, saying like, oh, we all have to get out together, we can all do it, then turning around and backstabbing everyone, he also murdered a lot of people while doing it. It was him that killed probably 2 people, and it was really shocking to see him do this, and it was amazement that I felt when I really thought through his entire plans. And I'm like, oh my god, you are a ruthless killer, and you care so much about your brother that you would do this, and also about the girl, that your last words were trying to confess to her, and yet you died like everyone else that you had. You are a badass with making plans, going through with this entire thing, and not getting caught. He is a ruthless killer. He only cares about what he wants, and that's it. Number 7, Nezumi, N0.6. Now, this is a character which, after going on that entire thing about Hiroyuki, it's kind of a little bit of why is Nezumi going to be higher on the list than him. Well, Nezumi has a very bad and dark kind of backstory, and through that, yet again, another revenge case story. But unlike Hiroyuki, Nezumi fights, and what he wants to happen is not just to him, but to everyone. He wants everyone to be equal, slightly, almost. He wants the people that he's been living with for years to come on top for once, and all the high-end people to fall to their core. And it isn't until he met Shion in the series that actually gave him the idea of, let's bring these 2 communities together to live together, that he actually tries and goes down that path. He has very dark thoughts, but he is able to speak his mind and show evidence behind everything. If there is like something that you need explained, he can show you evidence behind it. He knows his way around. His name means rat, and that is what he is. He will do whatever it takes to, 1, protect Shion, but also get what he wants. And near the end of the series, he is shown beating up people in a facility and bringing down the reign of terror for all these people who thought they were up on top, but no. He knows what he wants done, and he can do it if he goes and actually tries. Number 6, Tohru Horikawa from Haikyuu. Now, this one may shock some people, because being a badass, you don't really think of sports. You really don't. And Haikyuu is a volleyball show. And some people will think of blood, swords, something like that. In Tohru's case, when I thought of this category, he was one of the top people I thought of because of how he plays volleyball. When you see the show, you see that for him to learn volleyball, he will sit and watch games, takes it in, and then come up with, like, strategies. He is a strategist when it comes to this game, and he is technically the reason why his school is as high as it is. He is like the king of the court, and if you understand haiku, you might argue with me on that one, but he technically is. And his predecessor, Kazuyama, is basically almost like him, but the only problem is that Tohru doesn't really care about anyone else. He cares about winning and wanting what he wants. So even though he may be a jokester at times, he'll make mistakes, and all the ladies go at him, he will get angry and he will fight back, and that is what I love about him. Now, from this to the other two that we just mentioned of Hiroyuki and Nezumi, how is this guy on top? Well, being a sports player myself, or used to, when I got on the court, I used to play basketball. When I got on the court and looked into, strong opponents, I would shake. So, going onto a volleyball court, if I saw him, I would shake because he has a devious look in his eyes. He knows what he wants. The other two, not that much. I don't know why, but I wouldn't really see that much terror. It would just be, oh, look, there they are. He would frighten me and play volleyball. And this is who I want to beat in a fight. Now, after all of this, we are down to the top 5. And if I remember correctly, these 5 are actual fighters. They will fight. You will see blood, all that. These are fighters. Number 5, Takashi Koromura from High School of the Dead. Now, even though the show may be underrated because of the explicit fan service, as an action anime, this is a great series. Horror, action, it really makes me want to go out and fight zombies now. Because of this, it makes me more happy about things. And I guess why I thought he was badass, he can kill zombies. And it's not just, oh, a trap. He will go in and smack their heads to bits. And I think that's fucking awesome. And there's one scene where he's going up against this kind of thug-like fellow, and he was about to blow his brains to, smithereens. He fought back against what he thought was right, and that thug is now dead. Not by that, but by the zombies that Takashi let him get devoured by. And it's not like he is some little, tiny person where, oh, I'll have a rifle, just a rifle, do that, then run away. No. He charges into this entire crowd to save a little girl, and also to just fight. He loves to fight, and I really admire that. I'm sorry, I think I'm going a little bit crazy, but okay. Now, next, number 4, Tsunayoshi Sadawada from Hitman Reborn. Now, probably about right before I started recording this, I had someone else, and the order of this list was completely different. Before, I had Monkey D. Luffy. but down near the bottom. It wasn't until I saw something that made me say, hey, what the hell are you not doing picking someone from this show? It's one of your favorites. You love the action scenes. Why is it not on here? Well, it was really hard for me to pick one. And if you do know the series, I'm going more based on the anime. There is a character, Bakaran, who I was going to pick because of all his accomplishments. From what he did from being such a badass. But thinking more about Suna, he fights not for himself, not just for his friends, but for the world. And by taking down a ruthless time traveler who also takes over dimensions, he is one hell of a badass. He has been through training, he's been through crap, bullying, all that. He shows what it means to be a mafia boss. And he doesn't want to in the first place. He just happens to be the next descendant. So, for someone who doesn't want to be one, he kicks ass with his flame powers, and also with the immense trust he has in people. And I don't think there's a fight that he's lost. Probably except with the older Hibari. Well, because he's like 7 years younger than that from what happens in that time arc. But other than that, I don't think he has actually lost the battle, which is actually really cool. And I would love to fight by his side because I know he would have my back. Number 3, Luxus Dreyer. Now, I keep saying now and I have to stop. He's from Fairy Tail. And for knowing Fairy Tail, reading manga from where it is, and the show, well, technically not really, you see how many badasses there are. Natsu Dragon Eel, Grey Fullbuster, Gajeel Red Fox, Sting, Rogue. Why did I pick Luxus? Well, why the hell not? Out of all of them, he is the oldest. He has more experience in magic than the others do. And in one of the latest manga volumes, after a year of training, without even having to move from his spot, he blew up an entire area with lightning. And that's fucking badass. His muscles are ripped, and he can take down ruthless villains. And unlike Natsu, who has to go out and bash and scream his way through a crowd or become snarky, Luxus just walks onto the field, tells the goddamn truth, and then fights. And wins. He wins basically almost every single fight. And it's fucking awesome. Number 2. Mendes from 7 Deadly Sins. This guy, even though being, or looking like he's 13, he's a grown adult, owns a pub, a pervert, and has kind of like a demon blood with him that causes him to get purple scars around his body, immense strength, and even without that, he has immense strength. And if you hurt one of his friends, he is after you. He fought with a sword with no blade and still won. And you don't think that he's badass. He basically helped many people. He was a guard, then somewhat around, I can't remember the time period, but he was seen as a criminal, and he really isn't. So, for him, badass, he takes it to a brand new level, and I just love him for it. And for him to fight, he doesn't really have to get that serious or angry. He will fight. He took down a prison while trying to high-five his best friend. And I love that. It was great. It was funny and great. Now, also, he is one of the 7 deadly sins of wrath, and he made an entire kingdom blow up and disappear. Now, what could possibly beat Mendes? Number 1, Killua Zolduak of Hunter x Hunter, mainly the 2011 version. You didn't think I would have Hisoka and not have another character from Hunter x Hunter, would you? Now, he is about 10 years old, just to let you know, and he is a fully trained assassin. He took down one of the most known criminals, killers, John Brown, with a swipe, and without showing any blood anywhere, he took his heart out. And look at that adorable face. He can make murders happen without you even knowing. Demon claws. All from being in an assassin family. And that's fantastic. And I love it. And he isn't... You see him being, like, serious killer-wise. Then, you see him being an adorable kid that still doesn't know the world. He still has to go out there, and he is with his best friend Gon, who is the same age, and he isn't an assassin, but he is also badass. Now, why is Killua number 1 and Hisoka is an honorable mention? Well, for Killua, a little kid like this, who, Nen, that's it. He has electric Nen that he created himself that could kill you, and having to face this little guy, knowing what he does, is terrifying, but it does make some good and cute entertainment. So that's it, guys. That's my top 10 badass male characters in anime. I will be making a female version, just when I find enough females in anime that, in my opinion, is badass material. And if you like this top 10, or even have any suggestions on top 10s, whether it's movies, video games, or anime or manga, place your comment down below. And if you like the video also, just hit the like button and maybe subscribe if you're new. But until then, see you guys.